Welcome to my space. My name is Moraima. I would like to share with you one of the book I'm reading right now, and this is the book, A Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton Malkiel. Why I'm reading this book? So first of all, because my mentor advised me to read it, and my mentor fell down from which I learned how to make the money work for me. Since then, since I learned from him about how to make the money work for me instead of the other way around, I decided to quit my job in my early 50s, about 5 years ago. And now I'm living, life in my own terms, along with my husband. But anyway, the reason why I'm reading this book is is because he advised us to do it. I have been reading probably a quarter of the book so far, in the page 86. But I have been, reflecting a lot about what Burton is talking about the history of the market, because I learned that as a long-term investor, as I am, as an advice other women to think about, it's really important to know history. And the history is repeating and repeating and repeating. You probably remember the down in the economy in 2000 for the dot-com, in 2008 because the mortgage crisis. If not, please watch the movie The Big Short. And then during the pandemic, after the 2008, they came the first election when Trump was elected in 2016, and that was a deep in the market. But in the long term, the market always return, as my mentor also. He don't know that my mentor Warren Buffett said. So please think long term if you want to become financial independent. So think about, you work really hard as I did, as my mom did, as my grandmother did, and my aunties, etc. And then you start saving money. But if you leave the money in the bank is gonna, the inflation basically is gonna eat your money out. So your purchase power is gonna be reduced greatly. I still remember, when I was younger, my mom's generation, they were teachers, even firefighter, policemen. They have, decent salary. They can buy houses. They can even have a vacation a year. Nowadays, this kind of job do not provide you, not even with a decent life. So going back to the book, which the book is part of the financial independence. I read many books like this one, and now I'm focused, as I say, in the history of the stock market. The conclusion of all of these people that have been working in the market, says the historian and the scholar, is when people are looking for a system to put their money, the market is going to provide it. But usually that ended up in a bubble that will, crash, make the market crash, and people, become crazy, like happened in 2008. And even now, with the recent election in the United States, for the recent election of President Trump, many people are thinking, so what to think, what to do? So please think a long term. So of course, there is inflation. Look to create a simple diversified portfolio using ETF. You want to know the ETF? I have a video to talk about what ETF you may consider. Remember, I am not your financial advisor. This is only for educational purpose. So please check out this book. Maybe it sounds complicated and boring at the beginning, but please stay to it, because this is really a random walk down to Wall Street. Burton is gonna guide you toward how to create a diversified portfolio that is long-term, as is anti-fragile, means regardless of what happens in the market, you're going to be protected. Today, as I say, I would like to talk to you about, the crisis. I have been making notes, and though here my book, it, is what it says. For instance, this one, when they talk about the the first bubble, which is the tulip in Netherlands. That was, the first historical bubble registered. The people become crazy because the tulips, the bulk of the tulips, becomes so valuable in the market, and people start predicting the price of the tulip in the future, and people start putting money. They say even, kings and monarchs, people like Isaac Newton was another one that was betting in the price of those commodities in the future. And of course, when the price increased so much, then people start, selling a lot of those contracts to buy the tulips, and the market crashed, and many people lost a lot of money. So please, I'm not gonna, read the book per se, but so far I have been reading. I am in the early 90s about the bubbles, and now the next chapter it says what can make the Bitcoin bubble deflate. As you may know, the Bitcoin is becoming, crazy high. I remember back in 2000, and that was probably 2008, 2009, when I was participating in this financial independence group. And this particular was Rich Dad Poor Dad. The people there advised us to buy Bitcoin, but I didn't understand back then what that means. We didn't invest money, which is fine. It's a funny story. Back then, one Bitcoin cost about 400 Canadian dollars. Nowadays, in 2024 November, the Bitcoin's price is about $138,000, one Bitcoin. Okay. So what it says, what can make the Bitcoin bubble burst? Perhaps the major advantage of using Bitcoin as a currency for transaction and a store of value and its anonymous nature. So many people take these two advantage. Actually, I use Bitcoin as a blockchain for many years to send money to my relative. No anymore. So the Bitcoin, the digital currency, can facilitate transactions so as a circumvent the ability of government to regulate them. So that's what made them dangerous at the same time. And holding Bitcoin as a store of value provides a greater security that it will be more difficult for a government to confiscate the owner's wealth. So this many people are using the cryptocurrency as a way to separate their money from the government, means to avoid be taxable or be confiscated, as I say, or what happened with the gold in the past. Even the United States, the history about how many wealthy people use gold to deposit their money. They buy solid gold, but the government made holding the gold illegal, and they had to sell the gold to the government to the price that the government decides to do. So please read the history, because the history repeats itself. You need to be aware. So once you have all of the history, what is going on, you will start recognizing the patterns. So the pattern that is following. So what happened with the big short in 2008? What will happen with the Bitcoin? We don't know, because nobody has magic crystal ball to say. But as you start recognizing the patterns to protect yourself, please think long term. You want to know more about that, please get the book in your library. You don't have to buy it. But people start repeating the same mistakes. So if you want to avoid the mistakes of falling for, the Bitcoin or other things that you don't understand, please do not put money on that because you work really hard to get your money. So please save, invest wisely, and prepare yourself. If you want to know more, please let me know in the comments below. Bye-bye.